When I was 16 years old, my best friend and I made the dumb decision to get matching tattoos from an older man who was doing tattoos illegally out of his home. He was well known in the area within our age group for giving cheap tattoos to minors. He had recently gotten out of prison for giving minors tattoos and not practicing under state guidelines, and needless to say, I don't know what in God's name we were thinking, but hey, when you're a rebellious 16-year-old, not really caring and incredibly dumb, and you have the chance to get a tattoo for $20, I guess any and all common sense flies right out the window. So we set up a time with him to go over to get our tats. I don't remember the exact time that we went over, but I remember it was already dark, so it must have been in the late evening or something. It was just the three of us alone in his house. I remember feeling very eerie being there. Something about him and the energy of the place felt very off, but being the dumb teen that I was, I chose to ignore those feelings and go through with it anyways. We were there for about 30 minutes. We got our tattoos and then left. Fast forward to a few months later, I see his picture and name on the news. At first, I thought he got busted for his illegal tattooing, and little did I know that it was so much worse than that. He had been arrested for one of the most heinous crimes someone could commit. It turns out he bought an old police car, a cop costume, handcuffs, and would go into parts of Portland that prostitutes frequented, impersonating a cop to arrest them. He brought them back to his house and chained up the victims in his basement, his correction garage, where they wouldn't be heard. There, he would repeatedly assault them and torture them. I was absolutely sick to my stomach when I found out. I cannot imagine what these women went through, and I still don't really want to know all the details. This was all happening around the same time that we were at his house, so the chances that one of the victims were there around the same time as we were could have been a possibility. I thank God that nothing happened to us, but there's also a part of me that feels guilt. What if someone was screaming for help while we were there and we just couldn't hear them? Why didn't he kidnap us? We would have been the perfect targets. Every time I look at the tattoo, it's a horrible reminder of what could have been, so I'm planning on getting it covered up. Thankfully, all of his victims are alive, and I hope and pray that they are able to recover from this horrible act. He will be in prison for life with no possibility of parole. Always trust your gut. If you enjoyed this scary story, listen to thousands more, either over on the Let's Read YouTube channel or podcast.